Hey guys, what's going on? Andy Baker here, and week 3 of my USAPL meet prep is in the books, and so we're going to do a little recap here. If you're still following along, I appreciate it. I know right now, just getting back into training and recovering from the surgery and the injury. It's not the most exciting thing in the world, but it should get better. So. Started the week Monday as I have been doing with my deadlift day, and just starting off with some recovery squats, just some light squatting, 6 sets of 2 reps. I think that's 265 on the bar, so got it set a little below 60%. And again, taking these on short rests, like 30-second rest periods, and just trying to flush out some of the soreness that I still have lingering from the previous Friday, and just to kind of warm up before I hit the deadlift. So just doing a little differently than I have been doing. Normally I would do like a lot of light sets of 5, but this time I'm doing doubles, more sets, and on shorter rest periods, so just more first reps, and basically just to do something a little bit different. So that's what I'm doing here. Nothing too exciting. I believe this was set number 6 right here, so this should be the last of them. And then after the last set here, went right into the deadlift warm-ups. Didn't video any of the warm-up sets, just went right to the first work set. Did one kind of heavy-ish over warm-up set. This was 445, so not real heavy. The biggest thing again is I'm getting used to the grip from the arm where I had the surgery. The grip is still off there, and so the biggest challenge for me on these deadlifts is the grip on my right hand. So, but it's coming along. 445 didn't feel very heavy, so that's a good thing. A little forward on that last one, and then after the one kind of over warm up heavy set, went into the volume deadlifts. This week was 8 sets. 8 sets of 3 reps on the deadlift, so it is a ton of volume. Weight's still pretty light. It's at 390, and did these on like a minute or 2 rest. Trying to move them a little bit faster without going crazy on the speed. And I'm trying to protect that bicep still, using straps, and just kind of moving it at a moderate speed, not trying to go like super fast. I'm not ready to do that yet with that arm. I'm still only about 5 months out from the surgery, so I'm going to be a little bit careful with doing anything that's too dynamic on that bicep. That was the first set. I believe this is set number 8. So still didn't feel real heavy, but I was just getting overall tired here, but felt like the speed was still pretty good here, even on the 8th set. Okay, and then following the, as I've been doing, following the volume deadlifts, I went into some Romanian deadlifts, 2 sets of 5 reps here, and these were done, I'm just calling them contrast RDLs. Some people, you can call them whatever you want, but I'm lowering down on a very slow eccentric, so a 5-second eccentric and a fast concentric. So if you count there, it's around 5 seconds, and then trying to come up fairly quick. So it's a little bit hard to actually keep count as you're lowering the weight down and keep track of your reps, but I think I got it about right. Aiming for about 5 seconds down, very brief pause maybe on the ground, and then back up quick. This was the second set of 5 reps. So I feel like I did a better job on the second set. I felt like on the first set I allowed maybe just a little bit too much knee bend. I was kind of focused on counting the the seconds on the eccentric there, and I felt like I got a little bit too much knee bend in there. This one I kept my knees a little straighter and got a lot more of a stretch in the hamstring, which is where I'm trying to focus on, is just putting all the stress on the hamstring on this one. That's an area of focus for me. So both of my lower body days, I'm doing some dedicated hamstring work, RDLs on one day and then heavy leg curls on another. And then after the RDLs, went into the barbell rows, which I've been doing. Last week I did the barbell rows dynamically and from the floor. This week I did them a little bit differently. Basically same style of row, what I call kind of a sloppy row. So I'm trying to focus on the weight and just move the weight, still focused on the lats, but they're not super strict. But this week I didn't pause them on the floor. I allowed a stretch reflex in there. You'll see I still take them over pretty deep, but starting from the top and then rowing into the lower abdominals. And did 3 sets of 5 reps here. I think I like this style better. I go back and forth between pulling from the floor and kind of pulling, I just say pulling from the hang. And I feel like keeping that continuous tension on the lats, I feel quite a bit more. So I think I'm going to keep this style for my deadlifting days. And this was the second set. Trying to feel a good stretch on the lats on the way down, and then get a brief squeeze at the top as I pull the barbell into my lower abs. And then this was the second day. This is my bench day. Starting off with, I'm just calling these some dynamic effort-ish squat or bench presses. So they're not real light, not super speedy, but they're not real heavy. Doing doubles here, 6 sets of 2 reps, focusing on a long pause at the bottom, like a 3-second pause, and then trying to get the volume in pretty quick. So 6 sets, 2 reps with about a minute of rest in between is what I'm going for here. I'm just kind of starting off light, and plan is to build these up over time. So the other set, that was the first set. This is the 6th set here. And then this is kind of my rep set here. I'm doing this, again, kind of rest pause style. So basically I'm getting one kind of all-out set to start with. That's close to failure. It's not all the way to failure because I'm benching alone, and I really am trying to avoid failing if possible. So I'm stopping, 1 rep shy of failure. I think I got about 9 there, and then I'm taking a 20-second rest period here. So it's not full recovery. Obviously, it's just a little bit of recovery. I got a clock there in front of me, so that's kind of what I'm watching. About 20 seconds go by. I try not to rush it, so I try not to rush the setup or anything like that because I'm tired. So I don't want to rush the setup and do anything wrong and tweak anything. But you can see the reps here, they drop from 9 all the way down to 2. It's kind of weird when you do these DC style rest pause sets. If you unrack it and you think you're going to get a lot more than you are, that first set or that second set, lowering it down, it doesn't feel very heavy. But then it just goes up real slow. You can tell you're working on some really fatigued fibers there. And then take another 20 seconds here, and then I hit a third set. So basically hitting 3 points of failure in the set. and this one only resulted in a single. I might have gone for one more had I had a spotter with me, but I just didn't want to get pinned. And then as I've been doing, I've been making my second exercise, the weighted dip. So starting off with the really kind of quick 6 doubles on short rest period, then the 1 rest pause set, and then going into 3 sets of dips. These were weighted at 30 pounds today, 2 15-pound kettlebells. Plan is over time to get these going much heavier, but trying to stick right now with kind of moderate weight, full range of motion, trying to get a good stretch on the chest on the way down there, leaning into it a little bit so I get the focus on the chest. Still getting plenty of tricep work, but really trying to make this more of a chest exercise than a tricep movement. But I'm pretty happy with these. My weight is down on these. But considering just a few months ago I was not able to do any. The first time after the surgery, the first time I tried to get up and do a dip, I got exactly 0. So today doing 3 sets of 6 with 30 pounds on my waist, just a couple months after that, I feel like is a victory. But hopefully over time I can build these up again because I think they're really helpful. Third exercise then today was went back to the floor fly again. So I'm really liking these. I'm really liking the way what these are doing to the chest. So I'm going to keep these in there basically until I can't feel them anymore or I'm not making progress on them. So it's kind of how I rotate the assistance movements. Is kind of you start losing your pump on the exercise and or you quit making progress on the exercise, it's time to rotate out to something else. So you'll rotate the assistance movements out a little bit more frequently than you will the main movement. But these are kind of novel to me. I've done a ton of flies in the past, but I haven't done really any flies for a number of years. So getting back into them, it actually feels really good, and I'm really liking these pause floor flies. And this is something new. I've done a lot of flies, but the pause version on the floor is something novel to me. So I'm enjoying it, and I feel like it's having a good effect. So I will stay with it for the time being. Got 3 sets of these, just filmed 1 set. And then after this went on to the seated row. Went pretty heavy on these today, 3 sets of 8 reps. Just trying to get a good stretch on the lats and a real good contraction at the top. Again, trying to work the back like 3 days a week. So I'm hitting it usually with some kind of row or pull down or both on 3 of my sessions, usually Saturday, Monday, and Wednesday. I'm hitting some sort of upper back exercise. I think that was the first set. This is the 3rd set. And then following the 3 sets of rows, went into 3 sets of V-grip, close grip pull downs. Again, taking these pretty heavy, getting a good stretch and a full range of motion. So taking them as heavy as possible, but staying really strict. And I think I did 3 sets of like 7 or 8 reps here, pulling all the way down to the upper abs, trying to really hit the lower lats. So right now my back is a big weak point for me. I've got a lot of atrophy in there during the layoff after the surgery. So I'm focusing a lot right now on my accessory movements on my back and also my hamstring. So really the whole back side of my body I feel like needs a whole lot of work. That was the first set. Here's the last set. And then after the lat work today, finished with some triceps again. Again, went back to the paused dumbbell floor extension. Really, really like these from last time, so staying with them again, trying to either add weight or add reps to them, so which I was able to do today. So 3 sets here of about 10 to 15 reps. Really enjoyed doing these with the pause, something a little bit different, but it could really, really feel that those were hitting the triceps really hard. So I'll stay with these again until I either stop making progress or quit getting them pumped doing them. Is a good sign to move to a different exercise. And then here's day 3. This was the squat day. A lot of volume today. I think it wound up being 13 sets of squats, which sucked. But that's the goal right now, is build up a ton of volume at the front end here. I gotta reestablish my base a little bit. Starting here with a kind of an over warm up triple at 415. And then after the heavy sets, went down to 315 again for the speed work. And today was 10 sets. So week 1 was 6 sets. Week 2 was 8 sets. This week, week 3, is 10 sets of 3 at 315 with about a minute or minute and a half of rest in between each one. I wouldn't say these are max speed. I really don't do the dynamic stuff max speed. I just don't feel like at my age now it's necessarily a good thing to try to move like with maximal velocity, but it's kind of close to it. I'd say it's probably 80-90% of max speed. Just trying to get a good acceleration, make the plates rattle a little bit at the top. I feel like it's probably good enough. The main thing is just kind of the density of the work and the total volume. So 10 sets of 3 done on like a minute of rest, you get quite a bit of volume in a really short period of time. And it's a hell of a conditioning effect as well. This was set number 10 right here, so speed actually looked pretty good here. If anything, the speed was better on set 10 than it was on set number 1, so that's a good sign. It means you got your weight selected right. And then here was the pause squats, so 2 more sets, 3 reps on the pause squat. Kept it down to the bottom for about a 3 to 5 second hold. I was pretty tired on these today. The volume got to me a little bit on that dynamic effort stuff. These felt a little harder than they did last time. Even though the weight was heavier, I think it was more a fatigue from the dynamic effort stuff, but I'm liking these pause squats as well. I'm going to keep these in here. Hard to make yourself stay down there when you're getting tired. And then this was the second set. This was set number 13 of the workout. I was ready to be done with squats. And then finished off, as I've been doing on my squat day, finished off with 3 sets of leg curls. So just trying to get some additional hamstring work in here without putting any additional stress on the low back, as I'm doing a lot of deadlift volume on Mondays. So, but I'm keeping these fairly heavy. So a lot of times I train these more in the 10 to 15 range, but I've been training them more like the 5 to 7 range. But I have been able to bump up in weight every time that I've been doing them, so I've been liking how these have been feeling. So, and then last day of the week, day 4. This is kind of my upper body, kind of just second light upper body day. Started off with the dynamic effort press. I don't remember if these are the first 5 or the last 5. I think these are the last 5. But been basically doing 15 singles on a 20-second rest period. This is 180 here, and these are tougher than you think they are. Doing the 15 sets of 1 with 20-second rest period. Every time you unrack the bar and re-rack it and all that kind of stuff, it takes a lot of energy out of you. But I'm not really focused on the press for this training cycle, because I'm going to be more focused on obviously bench pressing for the meet in February, but I do want to keep the press trained. And so this is just kind of something that messing around with the dynamic effort singles like this. But it allows me to get a lot of work done really fast. So I'm getting 15 good quality reps done in about 5 minutes if you stay strict to the 20-second rest periods. And it doesn't tire out my triceps that much, because on today's workout I'm doing a close grip bench press. So I'm starting with the press and going trying to go for a little bit of speed, and then moving on to the close grip bench, and I'm able to do that. And I'm good and warmed up, but I don't have any built up fatigue in my triceps really for the close grips. I think this is the last one of the day. Definitely slowed down just a little bit more than I would have liked it to, but these are, like I said, these get pretty tiring. And then moved on to lat pull movement. So I'm doing the heavy lat pulls on Wednesday, and then Saturday you can see these are a lot lighter. I'm doing these more in like the 15 rep range, so I'm lessening the load but bumping up the volume and keeping the reps a little higher, keeping the rest time shorter. So just for a little different training effect. I'm not necessarily looking to do everything heavy all the time. It kind of burns you out. So you're going to play with the rep ranges and rest periods and all that sort of thing to give some diversity throughout the week. Did 5 sets here of about 15 reps, bunch of volume, then moved on again to my seated row machine and did the rear delt grip. So if you can see on this machine, I've got 2 different grips. So on Wednesday when I did it, I used the bottom grip, which hits a lot of the lats. So you feel that more all around the shoulder blades and kind of the lower lats, mid back area. And then using this other grip, you keep the elbows high. You can't really tell, but my grip is out pretty wide on here, and it hits the rear delts really, really, really hard. So I use this machine quite a bit. So it just gets some upper back work without putting any stress on the lower back in between the lower body sessions. Did 3 sets of 15 reps there, and then moved on to close grip bench. This was 240. And I did 3 sets of 7 here. Close grip I'm struggling with a little bit. My right arm, where I had the surgery, seems like anything I do that's real dependent on the tricep or the bicep. So like those V grip pull downs or the close grip bench or anything with a closer grip, it seems like I'm struggling with that arm is still not back to 100%. So I'm feeling that right side quite a bit weaker than the left side. So I can feel myself pushing a lot harder on my right side than I am on my left, and I think that's holding me back on these movements. But nothing really you can do other than just train it. I'm less than 6 months out from the surgery, so I'm doing better than I thought I'd be doing. So I'm just happy to be back under the bar again. All right, guys, that's week 3. I appreciate you watching. I'll keep you updated on what's going on. As always, you can head over to my website at andybaker.com, and I got tons of free articles and affordable training programs that you can download there. All right, guys, thanks a lot. Have a great week.